morning, everybody. How you doing? It's me. Just still kind of setting up a little bit. Got home a little late from work today, so that's why we're running late. But that's just the nature of the show sometimes, because as Gun Fox would tell you, boomer late again is what it is. Anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday morning. Normally this would be Woke Wednesday, but it's not today because I want to talk about news. However, it is Hump Day on the Morning Night Live. So anyway, I got to tweet out the show, so why don't I play the intro? And if you see my tweets, then you can follow up on your own. Johnny, will you play the intro, please? I got shit to do. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight. All right, stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. Today is Wednesday, Hump Day, the 29th of September 2021, and I hope you are having a fantastic morning. Now, as I am speaking to you, I am putting out the notifications on Minds, Gab, Cloud Hub, Parler, Getter, all those other social media sites. But the main one I'm on is Twitter. You can find me at PDawgKnight on any of those particular platforms, as well as BitChute and Odyssey and Rumble and did I say BitChute? Odyssey, Rumble, Trovo, DLive. Although DLive and Trovo, I'm kind of soured on, and I haven't really done any streaming on those places because they seem to be going. I don't know if they're getting woke, but they are burning a lot of bridges with some of their creators, shutting them down, and is what it is. But as you can tell, the main topic of the day is our friend Vanilli. Yes, General Milley, because he was in a wait, what? What's MySpace? What's the MySpace thing? Oh, I know what we're talking about. I was on, I opened a one of those Twitter Spaces things yesterday where you can have people come in and you can invite people to be speakers and stuff. It's an interesting platform. In fact, I might even use it the next time I go on, have a Friday call-in show. I might also use Spaces and not just StreamYards, because it's a kind of a nice way for people on Twitter to use it and don't have to click into StreamYards. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, topic of the day, the main topic of the day is General Milley Vanilli. And it's funny, kind of like Milli Vanilli. If you're familiar with Milli Vanilli, I'd be getting to wonder if General Milley is just is he just lip syncing? What is it with this guy? I don't know. I'm wondering also why he's not in jail, why he's not mopping floors in the brig somewhere. But anyway, I do have my cup of reparations at hand with the Papa Bear cup, because I am Papa Bear on some days. And although both my kids moved out, I miss my kids. And by the way, I know I've already told you this, but now my daughter says it's okay to tell anyone that it's official. My daughter is going to have a baby. I'm going to be a grandpa and all that stuff. So I'm so excited because she had her first trimester wellness check, whatever, and everything looked good. Baby heart beating. They got the ultrasound and all that stuff. So, and she's like, okay, I feel better that, I guess she's around 16 weeks or so. Good. And, looking healthy so far. And she is so happy. It's so fun to see my daughter just beaming happy about something. And, it makes me feel good, you know? So anyway, let's say good morning to everybody real quick, and then we'll get into the show. Let me make sure this worked. I don't know if I actually did this on Gab. Did I do this on Gab? There he is, Millie. All right, I can close some of these tabs now because I'm sure it's slowing things down on my computer. Let's say good morning to the crew because that's what I do on the show. First in the chat today is Wikipedia Snippet, and you get
China
the bell. And yes, China is asshole. And how dare you? And we say dead people. Anyway, so good. Thank you, Wikipedia Snippet, for being so Johnny on the spot. And next up was Gunfox61. Howdy, yeah. And the administrator of our Discord server. Check out the Discord server. There's always a bunch of news on there too. Also, good morning, Selecta Boy.
Yeah, boy.
And also, good morning, too. Rotten Corpses in the house, Jesse Leon, Jonathan Peterson, Aaron Meredith. Also, I said Jesse Leon, didn't I? Yes, I did. I did say that. Also, good morning, Renee Mayette, who I think beat me to the draw and tweeting out the show. Tex AG is in the house, 007. Good morning, Advocatus Diabli, the Devil's Advocate. Let's see. Let me scroll down here. Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians in the house. How you doing? Fox B2's here. Trippy Liberty, what's up, my man? Good to see you. Also, good morning too. Who else is on here? Come on, let's go. Okay, I got to scroll down quite a way. Oh, Zombie Teddy's in the house. Nice to see you. And I'm getting there. Okay, so if you're here, good morning to you. And also, good morning, Tyler F. And if you're watching in the background because you're at work or something, don't do anything to get yourself injured. If you're running one of those big metal presses, keep both hands on the switches. Or if you're driving the bus or you're in a truck or whatever you're doing, just be safe out there. And or if you're just, shuffling papers and listening, just don't get a paper cut, okay? I'm just saying, don't get a paper cut. Alone's in the house, always lost and nothing else. I'm going to sing that heart song again, but not today. Alone. Anyway, I said it wasn't going to sing it, and it still came out of my mouth. Anyway, all right. Hope you're having a wonderful morning. Let's get into it now. I sometimes, one of the reasons I sometimes don't necessarily use Breitbart News as much as a source, even though I think they do very good reporting, because it has this image of being this, this right-wing nutjob website. However, I think they have good reporting. And on the hearings yesterday in the United States Senate, I think they've done God's work, okay? They brought out some of the highlights from that hearing, and so I am using it a little more than I normally do today. And first up is a good question that I would have for General Mark Milley came from Senator Tom Cotton, and we're going to watch kind of little clips of some of the questioning that Milley and the gang got, because there's some things that happened in that hearing that were revelations. And I don't mean the world's coming to an end, but I don't know. We're in the middle of a Biden administration, so you never know. So anyway, yesterday, there was a hearing in front of the United States Senate, and some of these senators had some questions for the generals. Now, it wasn't just Milley. It was him, Lloyd Austin. There was another general there. My brain, I'm doing one of those Biden things.
The thing.
And I'll figure it out eventually. What the hell happened there? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, so this was a great question from Senator Tom Cotton, and I can't remember. I'm going to get an ad in this. Hang on a second. Okay, we're gonna get rid of the Aflac ad. 12 seconds. Sorry, I should have done this beforehand. But again, I did get home late today. Both my kids. Wait, what are we talking about? As long as it doesn't burst out of her, okay. Oh, you were talking about my daughter. Okay.
That it was the.
All right, let's pause this for a second. Okay, wait a minute. My youngest loves that show, LOL, which I forgot which show I'm talking about. Wait. Oh, I see. Better start watching Bluey on Disney Plus. You'll be spending plenty of time watching that wonderful show. I guess we'll see. Just wait until around the 8th month. Oh, she'll be Look, I went through my wife's 2 pregnancies. Well, I didn't. I watched her go through it. And, you know, I never had that time where she felt like grabbing my bottom lip and pulling it up over my head. So I've spared that. I don't know how my daughter will do, but I think she'll be okay. And also, what else here? Okay, Bluey loves you. Now, see, my kids were Blue's Clues kids, but that's when it was Steve, and they didn't really try to throw any agenda stuff at you. I don't know what it's like now. But you know, back when Steve was doing Blue's Clues, I thought it was a pretty cool show for kids, and they did learn some things, and we love that song. Here's the mail, it never fails, it makes me wanna wag our tail. When it comes, I wanna wail mail. Okay, you didn't really need that, did you? Anyway, let's see what else. I'm probably, let me check out the chat here real quick. Both my kids enjoy it, probably, or then I enjoy them. No dad can live up to the level Bandit does for playing with his kids. Okay, cool. I don't know about that. I guess I'm going to have to check it out. Good morning, Brad Young, by the way, and also Black Huber is your light.
That's right.
Great to have you here this morning. All right. Let's get into this thing that I'm supposed to be paying attention to on the right over there. That thing that Tom Cotton does, you know. Bill Cosby quoting Carol Burnett, LOL. Yes, exactly. So anyway, here is Tom Cotton having some poignant question. And we might just watch some of this. I got 30 tabs open, but we just might have to stick with this line of questioning. Here it is.
General Milley, Joe Biden has said that it was the unanimous recommendation of the Joint Chiefs that we not maintain a military presence beyond August 31st. We've heard testimony to that effect today as well.
Obviously, we're talking about Afghanistan because this is a hearing about the very poorly executed, AKA botched, AKA debacle of the removal of our personnel, but not all of our stuff and not everybody from Afghanistan. So we'll continue this.
When was that unanimous recommendation?
Oh, damn! Damn! Alone. Damn! You know, I don't have, you know, I suppose I could do it this way. I'm going to start pinning comments. Good Lord. Good Lord. I don't know about that. When the real question, will Mark Milley pull a real Milli Vanilli? And I don't mean lip sync. I mean ending of oneself. Ouch, babe. Ouch, babe. That hurts. That is, oh, goodness gracious. Okay. And, okay. I'm sorry. Now I got to go back and listen to the question because this is a good question from Tom Cotton, or a couple good questions.
General Milley, Joe Biden has said that it was the unanimous recommendation of the Joint Chiefs that we not maintain a military presence beyond August 31st. We've heard testimony to that effect today as well.
Now, and also, when did he say this? He said this in an interview with George Stephanopoulos. Remember that? Do you remember that interview with George Stephanopoulos that sometimes went awry? But he said, yes, they all had a unanimous, they were going to withdraw everybody and so on and so forth. Good morning, Hig, and say hi to Cindy for me. Good morning.
When was that unanimous recommendation sought and presented to the president?
Great question.
You're talking about the 31 August?
Yes, the 31 August deadline for getting out
on
of here.
25 August, I was asked to make an assessment, provide best military advice on...
I'm sorry, my time is limited here.
Okay.
You gave me the answer that I needed to hear. August 25th?
Correct.
Kabul fell on August 15th.
That's correct.
You were not asked before August 25th?
16th. On August 25th, I was asked to provide best military assessment as whether we should keep military forces past the 31st.
Secretary.
So again, if you notice there, Kabul fell on the 15th, and he got the advice on August 25th. Wait a minute. There's something. There's something wrong there. Is it August 25th after August 15th? Are we on a new woke calendar? Just curious.
Austin, was anybody asked before August 25th if we should keep troops at the Kabul airport?
What the hell? What do you mean I'm loading an ad? Are you serious? Okay, anyway, that's a good question too. Nobody before men. By the way, good morning, legit low talker. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. What? And this ad in the middle of Bingo Blitz. Do not ever purchase Bingo Blitz. That's all I'm saying.
Was anybody asked before August 25th if we should keep troops at the Kabul airport?
This is the president tasked us to provide an assessment on whether or not we should extend our presence beyond August 31st. And as General Milley just said, that assessment was made. We tasked him to make that assessment on the 25th, and he came back and provided his best military advice.
Secretary,
25th.
Kabul fell on August 15th. It was clear that we had thousands of Americans. It was clear to members of this committee who were getting phone calls that we had thousands of Americans in Afghanistan behind Taliban lines on August 15th. And it took 10 days to ask these general officers if we should extend our presence. I suspect the answer might be a little different if you were asking them 16 days out, not 5 days out. Again, my time is limited. I want to move on to another matter. President Biden's botched evacuation screwed things up coming and going as it relates to Afghan evacuees. We left behind thousands of Afghans who served us alongside of us, who were vetted and approved to come here.
By the way, Gunfox, yes, I did see that Congress passed that women could be called up in the draft. Has that been in the Senate yet? And has it been signed? I just don't know the point of that. Just doesn't even make sense. I mean, in reality, your average woman, and now there are some extraordinary women who would be fine in the military. They would be and when I say extraordinary, I mean extraordinary. Okay, I'm just saying there is a, oh God. Anyway,
We brought out thousands who really have no particular connection, about whom we know nothing, and cannot be effectively vetted. You now have female troops who have been assaulted. You have Afghan evacuees committing sex crimes at Fort McCoy. What are we to make of this? What steps are we taking to ensure that thousands of Afghans about whom we know nothing are not going to be a menace to our troops at our military bases and to the communities into which they're about to be released?
Well, Senator, I'm certainly aware of the allegations, and I take the allegations very seriously.
Okay.
And I can assure you that our commanders at our bases have what they need to be able to protect our troops and our families that work and live at those bases. And I'm in contact with General Van Herk, the NORTHCOM commander.
Except we didn't. Except we didn't. I just saying, I don't know if we really did or not.
Who has overall responsibility for the operation on a routine basis, and this is an area that he remains cited on.
All right, I just got one final question.
Here's the question. Here's the question that I played this for. The question I played this clip for is coming right now.
Milley, I can only conclude that your advice about staying in Afghanistan was rejected. I'm shocked to learn that your advice wasn't sought until August 25th on staying past the August 31 deadline. I understand that you're the principal military advisor, that you advise, you don't decide, the president decides. But if all this is true, General Milley, why haven't you resigned?
Senator, as a senior military officer, resigning is a really serious thing, and it's a political act if I'm resigning in protest. My job is to provide advice. My statutory responsibility is to provide legal advice or best military advice to the president, and that's my legal requirement. That's what the law is. The president doesn't have to agree with that advice. He doesn't have to make those decisions just because we're generals. And it would be an incredible act.
Maybe he just do it himself however he wants to, just fuck things up. Anyway, good morning. Good morning, Uncle Bad Touch.
Come on, man.
Anyway, God. Anyway, by the way, General Milley.
You're fucking a white male.
Anyway,
Act of political defiance for a commissioned officer to just resign because my advice is not taken. This country doesn't want generals figuring out what orders we're going to accept and do or not. It's not our job. The principle of civilian control of the military is absolute. It's critical to this republic. In addition to that, just from a personal standpoint, you know, my dad didn't get a choice to resign at Iwo Jima. And those kids that are at Abbey Gate, they don't get a choice.
All right, hold up. Did he just say his dad didn't get to resign at Iwo Jima? Are you comparing this to Iwo Jima? A complete failure to Iwo Jima. Oh my God, this guy.
Choice to resign. And I'm not going to turn my back on them. I'm not going to resign. They can't resign, so I'm not going to resign. There's no way. If the orders are illegal, we're in a different place. But if the orders are legal from civilian authority, I intend to carry them out.
Oh, really now? Really now? Isn't this General Milley, the general who was going behind the president of the United States back, calling foreign generals, making deals on, we'll tell you if we do anything? Is that the same Mark Milley who probably should be mopping floors in a brig right now? Oh my God. Good morning, Dumbbeard. Wow. Anyway, so there you go. Now, also, didn't he threaten to resign under Trump? Yeah, you know, it's funny that you should mention that. Anyway, all right. So now Josh Hawley also had some good questions. This is the Daily Caller. He was wondering, he was grilling Secretary Austin over the Afghan withdrawal, and this is from the Daily Caller. You left him behind. Joe Biden left him behind. Well, let's watch this clip here. Now, remember, Josh Hawley is one of, according to some of the pundits and, well, those people, he's one of the insurrectionists, I guess. Anyway, here's Josh Hawley's questioning of whoever he is asking here. Oh, real quick, let me stop just for a moment and take care of this. Thank you, GunFox61. And GunFox61!
You are the new Streamlabs
Superstar
sponsor
of the day. Yes, thank you. Thank you. First sponsor of the day. By the way, if you want to sponsor the show, you can do that through YouTube Super Chats. If you like giving Susan 30%, or if that's your choice, I shouldn't just shame you for using Super Chats because I appreciate whatever you do. And also through Streamlab, as GunFox61 just did, who says they don't give a damn if a bunch of female soldiers get raped by Muslims and military personnel. All they care about is optics. Plus, women do not belong in a combat zone or theater. Also, he is pushing get the jab or get discharged. Yeah, fuck that shit. But you know what? I think they're trying to use the jab as a marker, also for what other type of dissent they might have. And sorry, but there's a lot of brothers in the military that also are not wanting to get the jab. And you know, this whole thing, I do have an article if we get that far about what's happening in New York, the state of New York City, get a rope. Anyway, so thank you, GunFox61, for sponsoring the show. You are the Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the days as of this moment. Thank you, sir. Let's watch Josh Hawley ask questions. Hopefully we'll get an ad.
Secretary Austin, I have to take issue with something you just said. I know this is an administration talking point. I've heard it out of the mouth of the press secretary and others. We are not leaving Americans behind. That was your quote of just a minute ago. With all due respect, sir, you have left, past tense, Americans behind. We have no presence any longer in Afghanistan. There were hundreds of Americans, and not just Americans generally, civilians you left behind against the president's explicit commitment not to leave until all American citizens were out and to safety. That is not what happened. And now we have people who are desperately, frantically trying to get out of this country, coming to me, coming to members of this committee, asking for help. They can't get that help. They're stuck behind enemy lines. So please don't tell me that we're not leaving Americans behind. You left them behind. Joe Biden left them behind. And frankly, it was a disgrace. Let me ask you this, though.
Senator, thanks for your help in continuing to help get American citizens and Afghans who have helped us out of the country. But as you've seen, we've continued to facilitate.
Well, actually, I didn't ask you a question, but since you seem to want to address the issue, so since you do, isn't it true that you left Americans behind on August the 31st?
There were Americans that were still in Afghanistan and still
Yes.
are. We continue
Correct.
to work to try to get those Americans out.
Yeah, that's a yes. Let's not repeat, please, the frankly falsehood that we didn't leave Americans behind.
Yeah.
Secretary.
Yep, sorry about that. Good morning. Did I say good morning, Brad? I don't know if I said hi to you. Good morning, Brad Young. Also, good morning, nobody, not me. Welcome to the show. It wasn't pretty in the hearing. Now, editorials along this lines are not getting any nicer either. Of course, the New York Post isn't necessarily the nicest to this administration anyway. In particular, Michael Goodwin, tragic cost of Biden's Afghanistan's lies. Biden lied, they died. Wow, that's, they like to talk about Bush lied, they died. Well, now in Afghanistan. That's no longer just an accusation. It's now a fact, with Tuesday's Senate testimony shredding President Biden's nonsensical fictions about Afghanistan and confirming that he alone made the fateful decisions that created the chaotic and deadly withdrawal. Yeah, so we haven't gotten to this part where they talked about troop levels. Let me come back to this because you're probably not 100%. I'll put this towards the end. Let's do this one because so the generals, here's the front page, the generals in that hearing contradicted Biden on the Afghanistan withdrawal. Here's a quote: "I know the president to be an honest and forthright man." That was Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin's testimony to the Senate Armed Services Committee Tuesday. Trouble was, the questioner, Tom Cotton, did not ask Austin for his opinion of Joe Biden. The Arkansas Republican who served in Iraq with the 101st Airborne wanted to know if it was true that, as Joe Biden said last month in an interview with George Stephanopoulos, no senior military officer advised him to leave troops behind in Afghanistan. Jade Animal, good morning. Quote, "Their input was received by the president and considered by the president for sure," Austin testified, but the senior military officers weren't going to speak of what they personally recommended in confidence. And yet, they did answer a couple questions about that. U.S. Central Command General Kenneth McKenzie testified the officers recommended the United States maintain a presence of at least 2,500 U.S. service members in Afghanistan. General McKenzie told the committee he made a similar recommendation in the fall of 2020 under the Trump administration. The general believed the withdrawal of those forces would lead inevitably to the collapse of the Afghan military forces and eventually the Afghan government. Asked about future military involvement in Afghanistan, General McKenzie said the United States reserved the right to go after ISIS and al-Qaeda targets, but it will not be easy to do that. Well, that's because the Taliban's in charge now. General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, told the committee his assessment was to maintain 2,500 to 3,500 troops and, quote, move toward a negotiated solution. On the other hand, Milley told Senator Cotton, "I don't discuss exactly what my conversations are with the sitting president in the Oval Office." Now, and I tell you what, that was kind of Jen Psaki's answers too. Well, we're not going to tell you about the personal conversations between advisors to the president and the president. But anyway, both these generals said that they had recommended leaving 2,500 troops in Kabul. Now, if you remember back when George Stephanopoulos was questioning the president a few weeks ago, George specifically asked the president, was there anyone who said that you should leave some troops behind? And what's funny about the question, the way George Stephanopoulos put it, is he specifically said the number 2,500 troops in his question. And I don't have the clip. I didn't have a chance to look for it this morning. But he specifically said 2,500 troops, which to me is pretty damn clairvoyant of Stephanopoulos, or George Stephanopoulos was trying to give Joe Biden some bail with the question because George Stephanopoulos already talked to some of the generals or somebody in the administration. But Joe Biden said, no, we were unanimous that we should pull everyone out. Now, I don't have a problem the fact that they pulled everyone out. It was the way that they did it. And had they done it the way it was originally planned when they made a deal with the Taliban not to attack anybody, We could have done that back in April when it's not the fighting season and the Taliban would take over. Now, we probably knew the Taliban was going to take over Afghanistan at some point eventually anyway, but they have no fear of Joe Biden, unlike Donald Trump, because, you know, they're making that deal right after they, what is that they did? They did, they took that guy, what's that guy's, oh yeah, they Soleimani, and none of them wanted to be Soleimani'd. Capiche? Anyway, these articles, by the way, every article that I put on the show today and every show end up in a single link in the description down below in the second paragraph, where I put a one-tab link that will have every story that we cover during the show. Let me do a quick shield here since I'm on the screen by myself with just some pretty graphics behind me. By the way, the Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please show your love by clicking the like button sometime during the show, sharing the stream, and if you're watching on a replay, you can throw a comment in the comment section just to let me know you were here. Just say, hi, hey, Marty, I was here, or something like that. A lot of you do that already. Thank you for those who do. And then if you'd like to sponsor the show, you can do that several different ways. Those are all down in the description down below, and it pops up on your chat every once in a while too, and how you can do that. All right, let's keep going here. So Milley also, according to Breitbart and according to this clip, seems to admit that the evacuation was, well, you know, kind of a shit show. So here's let's see if we can get this on the screen. Oh, we get another ad. How about you? He admitted that it was a strategic failure. Let's see if the ad's almost done. The 16 seconds of this. I've never understood having 16 seconds of a silent ad. But he was referring to the non-combat evacuation, which, you mean, the civilians that should have gotten out of there? Anyway, here it is. Oops.
Brigade operation, an extraordinary success. General Miller, in his testimony, disagreed with that assertion. General Milley, was this Afghanistan retrograde operation an extraordinary success?
There's
Hell
two
no!
operations, Senator.
Just yes or no. I have a lot of questions. Was this an extraordinary success?
Senator, with all due respect, there's two operations. There's the retrograde, which Miller was in charge of, and there's the NEO, which CENTCOM was in charge of.
Oh.
The retrograde was executed and ended by mid-July with a residual force to defend the embassy. The NEO...
You and I have discussed this. Would you use the term extraordinary success for what took place in August in Afghanistan?
That's the non-combatant evacuation, and I think one of the other senators said it very well. It was a logistical success, but a strategic failure.
What?
And I think those are two different terms.
Look, what? Wait. What the hell did he just say? Come on, hold on. Oh, shit. I stupid ads. Turn off ads. Turn off ads. Remove ads. Total ad block. Faster web. No ads. That's an ad for ad block. Are you kidding me? Hang on, what was his answer?
It's a non-combatant evacuation, and I think one of the other senators said it very well. It was a logistical success, but a strategic failure.
A logistical success, but a strategic failure. Wait a minute. Wouldn't normally a logistical success would include logistically getting everybody out? How would it be a logistical success? What did he say? A logistical success.
Said it very well. It was a logistical success, but a strategic failure.
But a strategic failure. Okay, I think there's a term for that. It has something to do with pigs and cosmetics that are normally used by ladies, but I wouldn't want to misgender who uses the cosmetics. Lipstick on a pig, yes. Anyway, let's see. Now, hang on a second here. We're going to skip that. I want to go to this, then this. Oh, let's just keep going with the Breitbart coverage because Marsha Blackburn, senator from Tennessee, had some choice words also. Is this in a, let's see. Okay, so we'll have to go through the article because this wasn't in here. Anyway, Biden lied. Marsha Blackburn calls for the POTUS to resign over Afghanistan debacle. Now, this is, we're not, obviously Joe Biden's not going to resign over this because Joe Biden's going to get sick at the end of his second year of the first term so that Kamala Harris can run twice. But anyway, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Republican Tennessee, on Tuesday called for the president to resign over his fatally botched withdrawal of U.S. military forces from Afghanistan, accusing the commander-in-chief of making false statements about advice he received on pulling out from the war-torn country. Testifying publicly before the Senate Armed Services Committee Tuesday, Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff General Milley Vanilli and head of the U.S. Central Command, General Kenneth McKenzie, both said they recommended keeping some U.S. troops in Afghanistan. I won't share my personal recommendation, blah, 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 blah. Milley told lawmakers that while he should not divulge his personal recommendations to Biden, he believed that back in the fall of 2020 and remain consistent throughout that we should keep a steady state of 2,500, and it could be bounced up to 3,500, maybe something like that, in order to move toward a negotiated solution. Now, if you're wondering why that sentence was so disjointed, that's because that's how he said it. Anyway, the testimonies of Milley and McKenzie raised questions about whether Biden lied to ABC News' George Stephanopoulos during an August 19th sit-down in which the president said he did not recall whether his military advisors urged him to maintain a U.S. presence in Afghanistan. Now, here's the transcript. Stephanopoulos, but your top military advisors warned against withdrawing on this timeline. They wanted you to keep about 2,500 troops. My question is for George Stephanopoulos, how did you know that precise number of troops those generals wanted you to keep? Just curious. And Biden answered, no, they didn't. It was split. That wasn't true. That wasn't true. Stephanopoulos, they didn't tell you that they wanted troops to stay? Biden, no, not in terms of whether we were going to get it out in a time frame, all troops. They didn't argue against that. Stephanopoulos, so no one told your military advisors not to tell you, no, we should just keep 2,500 troops. It's been a stable situation for the last several years. We can do that. We continue to do that. Now, he's quoting somebody. George is quoting somebody when he asks that question. Biden, no one said that to me that I can recall. Look, George, the reason why it's been stable for a year is because the last president said we're leaving. And here's the deal I want to make with you, Taliban. We're agreeing to leave if you agree not to attack us between now and the time we leave on May the 1st. Oh, what date was that, Joe? May the 1st? Why did you arbitrarily move it back? I don't know. Anyway, the seemingly contradictory recollections of Biden and McKenzie and Milley prompted Blackburn to call for Biden's resignation. Now, again, this might be, I don't know if this is grandstanding by Marsha Blackburn, because it wasn't like he said it to George, but it's not really like he said it to the American people, because, journalists aren't, you speak to journalists and whatever you say to journalists doesn't really matter because, you're a politician. Anyway, on Twitter, she wrote, Biden lied when he told Stephanopoulos no one advised him against his timeline-based withdrawal. His recklessness resulted in the deaths of 13 U.S. service members and abandonment of countless citizens and allies. Biden can't avoid the consequence of his actions. He must resign. He should resign because he's President Sundowner. Anyway, so I don't know. And this calls for that. I don't necessarily put a lot of weight on Marsha Blackburn. But anyway, Richo's in the house, my friend from down under. Nice to see him. We're going to keep going here. And again, here's McKenzie undercutting Biden's statements. Here's, please don't let there be an ad. Yeah, there's an ad, of course. All right, let me hit the...
Sell your house as
shut
is.
Up! No,
we make
it's
it
too
simple.
loud. Good
Homestead.
God, turn that shit off. There we go. Okay, here we go. More. Same ad twice. What? That's only 5 seconds. Okay.
All of the parties had an opportunity to provide input, and that input was received.
Thank you very much. Senator Inhofe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It was 2 weeks ago that we had a closed classified hearing. We had General Miller's recommendation at that time. Well, let me first of all just mention that during their confirmation process, you...
By the way, just Inhofe's so hard to listen to. It sounds like he needs to clear his throat all the time. And maybe he might hack up that phlegm eventually. And he talks kind of slow, and it takes forever for him to get a question out. But sorry, I'm going to put you through this right now.
Committed, and I'm speaking now to General McKenzie and General Milley, to giving your honest and personal views of this committee, even if those views were differed from those of the administration, and I'm confident that you will be doing that. During this hearing that we had, it was emphasized to us from General Miller that he was recommending the 2,500 troops in Afghanistan. Now, we didn't receive the documentation from your offices, I say to the witnesses today, until, well, actually 10:35 last night. So it really wasn't time to get into a lot of the details, but I'd ask General McKenzie, did you agree to the recommendation that General Miller had 2 weeks ago?
If I was McKenzie, I'd be like, Senator, I have no idea what you just asked me. Anyway, but he does.
Senator, again, I won't share my personal recommendation to the president, but I will give you my honest opinion, and my honest opinion and view shaped my recommendation. I recommended that we maintain 2,500 troops in Afghanistan.
Wait a minute. Didn't he just say I wouldn't tell you what my personal recommendation was, but then I'll whatever the spirit of whatever, blah blah blah, and then he says I recommended we escape 2,500 troops. That's a weird answer.
And I also recommended earlier in the fall of 2020 that we maintain 4,500 at that time. Those are my personal views. I also have a view that the withdrawal of those forces would lead inevitably to the collapse of the Afghan military forces and eventually the Afghan government.
Yes, I understand.
Well, that didn't happen because they already collapsed. God.
Anyway. And General Milley, I assume you agree with that in terms of the recommendation of 2,500?
What I said in my opening statement and the memoranda that I wrote back in the fall of 2020 remained consistent, and I do agree with that.
This committee is unsure as to whether or not General Miller's recommendation ever got to the president. Obviously, there are conversations with the president. Yeah, but I would like to ask, even though General McKenzie, I think you've all made this statement, did you talk to the president about General Miller's recommendation?
Sir, I was present when that discussion occurred. Oh. And I'm confident that the president heard all the recommendations and listened to them very thoughtfully.
So multiple people heard this conversation, but what did he tell Stephanopoulos? Not all we did. I don't know. Anyway. He told Stephanopoulos.
You know the thing.
Anyway, all right. So there's that. I'm almost done with this. I do have to tell you though, what Elizabeth Warren has said about this, and I don't know where the hell she came up with this, but Elizabeth Warren has an opinion, and well,
joining us now is Democrat.
You just got to hear this, ladies and gentlemen. A minority representative in the United States Senate. This guy.
Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Senator. Really appreciate it. What was your takeaway from the hearing about the evacuation from Afghanistan?
Wait for it.
That it was actually an amazing undertaking. It was done under chaotic circumstances because the government had collapsed, because the army had melted away, the Afghan army, and that even in the midst of all of that, our military was able to get about 124,000 people out. They left no American-owned equipment behind.
What?
They managed to execute that, and yet.
Oh, I see. So, Jesus. Notice how carefully she made that statement. First of all, it was an amazing undertaking. Yeah, you know what? Let me do this. Let me at least give the military the credit. You know, at least they did evacuate a lot of people. Okay, now, because of the way we did shit, we did not evacuate all the Americans and all our allies from there. But you know what? Just the constant planes in, planes out. Yes, they did that very well. But it was an amazing achievement. And what did she say? Wait a minute, hang on. Let me start where she started again. So I want you to hear this again.
An amazing undertaking.
Oh, yes.
It was done under chaotic circumstances because the government had collapsed, because the army had melted away, the Afghan army. And that even in the midst of all of that, our military was able to get about 124,000 people out.
She's not
they
wrong
left
there.
No American-owned equipment behind.
But that's the talking point, though. They left no American-owned equipment. See, what she's saying there is that all that equipment that we gave to the town, or not, gave to the. Okay, let me think about this. Oh, all the equipment supposedly that the Taliban got that was not American owned. That was equipment we gave to the Afghans. Oh, that's what she's trying to say. Oh, yes. Thank you, Tex AG 007, who says, "Oh, Pocahontas again with lies, scratching my damn head." Yes, jeez. The American-owned equipment. Notice how carefully she worded that phrase. Thank you, Tex AG, for sponsoring the show. I already did that. Okay. All right. And, okay, we're good. Here we go.
They managed to execute that. And yes, it was at risk. We lost a young woman from Massachusetts. I'm working now on trying to get the Congressional Medal of Honor for the people who we lost right at the end. But we knew it was a risky undertaking, and the military performed. We should be proud of President Biden and proud of our military.
Whoa!
Joining us now is Democrat Senator
We should
Elizabeth.
be proud of President Biden for that? Why? Why should we be proud of President Biden? Yes, the people who actually did the work, sure, we can be proud of them for doing everything they tried to do under the stress and under the orders under which they were doing them. But yeah, we signed the equipment over to someone else just so we could say, we didn't leave it behind. We didn't leave any of our equipment behind, not even a wrench. We gave that to the Afghans to make sure that it was their equipment they lost. Yes, that's how it works. Oh my God. Anyway, I just had to show you that clip from Elizabeth Warren. And then finally, now we can go to this article. How far are we doing? Okay, 10 o'clock. Good. I'm doing good. Now the article from the New York Post. It's no longer just an accusation. It's now a fact. Tuesday Senate testimony shredding President Biden's nonsensical fictions about Afghanistan and confirming that he alone made the fateful decisions that created the chaotic and deadly withdrawal. We now know for certain what was suspected all along, that the president rejected the advice of his top military aides about how to reduce the troop numbers while keeping the Taliban in check. He also falsely claimed to the public that al-Qaeda was no longer in Afghanistan and declared the withdrawal a ringing success. Yeah, Not so fast. Reluctantly, but clearly, his commanders begged to differ. One by one, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, Joint Chiefs Chairman General Mark Milley, who should be court-martialed, and head of the U.S. Central Command, General Kenneth McKenzie, said they advised the president either to keep 2,500 troops in Kabul or supported the proposal. All three also said al-Qaeda remains in Afghanistan and, as Milley put it, is still at war with us. Well, the other thing, the good part of that, though, if there's a silver lining, is they're also at war with the Taliban. They're not. They're having some skirmishes out in Afghanistan, and it's what's a way to put this gently, without being banned from YouTube. It's terrorist on terrorist crime. Let's put it that way. I suppose that's a good way to put it. The war is lost, Milley said. The enemy is in control in Kabul. The tone of the Senate Armed Services Committee hearing belied the bombshell testimony. There were no political histrionics. And for a welcome change, Democrats and Republicans followed similar lines of questioning, with the result that the devastating answers were mostly delivered in clipped, matter-of-fact style. Although a Dem here and there tried to blame former President Donald Trump for his original agreement with the Taliban, there was no serious effort to sugarcoat Biden's blunder. Clearly, the president's attempt to deceive the public were part of the events that put our vaunted military in the weak, vulnerable position of protecting a mass evacuation from a civilian airport in a city overrun by the Taliban. Biggest blunder is getting rid of that air base. That was a true screw up. Anyway. You can read the rest of this, but he goes into Stephanopoulos, what the president told Stephanopoulos versus what these generals said in the hearing, and somebody's lying, and it seems like it's 3 versus 1, and so I have a little more confidence in the in this case. I suppose I have more confidence in the generals, but I can't say that I'm 100% confident with them anyway. Now, I had one article also, I don't know what happened to it, about Nancy Pelosi here and regarding this, but I must have accidentally closed it. So let's move on to some other news, though, because I only got about a half hour left today. Now, if what's happening in New York, you know that in New York, right, they said that if the nurses and people in the health industry, if they did not get the jab, the Fauci juice, the punch, the whatever, that they would no longer be able to work in their professions in New York State. Well, Kathy Hochul, I think that's how you say her name, has made good on that, and a bunch of healthcare workers are being fired in New York and New York City, whatever. And now, Governor Hochul has a minor problem. Well, here's the deal. She's declaring a healthcare worker shortage emergency of her own making. By the way, good morning, Cracked. How you doing? So, New York Governor Kathy Hochul decided to continue disgraced Governor Andrew Cuomo's vaccine mandate for all healthcare workers. In a trend seen across the country, not all healthcare workers are willing to comply. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that even healthcare workers aren't necessarily 100% all in on getting the punch? Anyway, in a trend seen across the country, not all healthcare workers are willing to comply. The potential impact in New York hospitals is so significant that Hochul announced that she had signed an executive order to alleviate the possible staffing shortages. According to the text of the order, Hochul has declared a statewide emergency and invoked her powers under the State Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan. To put a finer point on it, wait, let me give to this. Thank you, by the way, Gunfox61 through Streamlabs with a deuce says, what? Medal of Honor for what, you retarded dumbass butch? They died because you fucked up so badly. And then that brainless old fuck kept looking at his fucking watch because he wanted his pudding. You could go fuck yourselves. Still not worth the MOH. MOH. Medal of Honor. Okay. No, I agreed. Yeah, why would they deserve the Medal of Honor? I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, I could see it. Well, I mean, I think their parents could posthumously get something, but a Medal of Honor? Why? What did they do? The Medal of Honor is anyway. It's not necessarily a routine doing your job thing that you get a posthumous Medal of Honor. But anyway, now, to put a finger, back to this article, to put a finer point on Hochul's declaring an emergency due to a crisis she created by ordering the punch mandate, you may recall that Governor Andrew Cuomo unilaterally managed the pandemic statewide under similar authority. He declared businesses open or closed, denied New Yorkers the ability to attend church, and required stupid-19 positive patients to return to their nursing homes under his authority. At one point, he even decided to specify what qualified as a meal. To dictate whether legal adults could order an alcoholic beverage at an outdoor restaurant. So now it's Hochul's turn. To manage the healthcare shortage, she has reserved the right to call National Guard medical personnel out of their civilian jobs to fill it. In addition, Hochul will allow all vaccinated licensed physicians in Canada and the United States to practice in New York. She is also allowing registered nurses from other countries to work in New York. Hochul issued a similar invitation to the other medical staff, such as radiological technicians and midwives with varying geographic limitations depending on specialty. Anyway, so she, oh my gosh. So she allowed this policy of letting go of these people who've been working on the front lines since the beginning of the pandemic, managed to not get themselves sick or killed by COVID. And now 18 months or whatever it is now later, is it roughly 18 months, whatever. Now, the heroes, these heroes are being fired. And now she's whining because she doesn't have enough healthcare workers. Because, the shortage is not really necessarily about the beds. It's about the healthcare workers. And they'd already been getting the people who do, elective surgeries, surgeries that are postponed or you can schedule a surgery. An elective surgery is a surgery which you can schedule, right? It doesn't mean it's optional. It just means you schedule it. And so a lot of those elective surgeries were being pushed back because of COVID, and these doctors and healthcare workers were risking their lives and working their fingers to the bone because they were all short-staffed and whatever. And because it was all the hospitals and the ship with 1,000 beds and the big temporary hospital they built over that place that had 1,000 beds, those were just jam-packed with people because they didn't have, because they didn't have enough beds in the hospital. They used every single bed in that. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. They never did use the beds in that ship. And in fact, they closed down that temporary hospital really early. Anyway, Purple Heart, yes. Bronze Star, no. Yeah, no Bronze Star, nothing. Purple Heart is what they should be getting. And definitely not the Medal of Honor. The Medal of Honor is extraordinary act of valor. That's not what this is for. Not getting killed in a combat zone is not necessarily, by a suicide bomber especially, is not an extraordinary action of valor. Sorry, I'm kind of... I got caught up in the chat, so if you have no idea what I'm talking about, read what Gunfox and Aaron Meredith have been talking about back and forth. I'm just answering that. Anyway, it's just they're going to allow people, regardless of where their license was from, and maybe their license was expired, but they're just going to allow anyone to come in because they blew it and forced all these people out who are working within the system, taking care of people, and many of them never having reached the island of COVID. So anyway, let's keep going because I'm going to try to get through the rest of these now. By the way, New Yorkers are fighting back, sort of. There's been some marches against COVID mandates and mass firings in New York City, one of the bluest cities in the country. A diverse crowd of New Yorkers on Monday marched in the second NYC walkout organized by Teachers for Choice. Protesters carried a sign that read, among other things, "Consent matters, make 1984 fiction again." There were also signs with the now ubiquitous "Fuck Joe Biden." Anyway, so here's
The vaccine you won't force my body, my choice. The vaccine you won't force my body, my choice. The vaccine you won't force my body, my choice.
So these people are protesting, saying you can't work if you don't get the punch. There's a "Fuck Joe Biden" sign. Now this particular one doesn't seem quite as lame as some of the ones we've seen. This is not bad, not so bad for a protest. So anyway, and there were thousands, they say. "We believe it should be everybody's choice. We're responsible for our health, not the government. Sending thousands of people to the unemployment and poverty lines is because their medical choice is tyranny," which is Joe Rose, spokesman for Teachers for Choice. In the meantime, Hochul gave herself no more power to deal with an expected loss of 16% of the state's healthcare workers by signing executive orders saying everybody who's jabbed can work in our healthcare system. Hopefully your credentials are real. So anyway, and here, in fact, here she is.
I prayed a lot to God during this time.
Did you now?
And you know what? God did answer our prayers.
Did he?
He made the smartest men and women, the scientists, the doctors, the researchers. He made them come up with a vaccine. That is from God to us.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did she just say what I thought she said? Did she just say God helped us come up with the vaccine did she? Wait a minute. Let's just listen to this line of thought.
Must say thank you, God. Thank you. And I wear my vaccinated necklace all the time to say I'm vaccinated. All of you.
Oh gosh.
Yes,
aren't you special? I'm so happy. But I got a question. Did she just call? Did she just call Donald Trump God? If you changed all those gods to Donald Trump, because they'd be just as accurate. And I'm sorry, Oh, DeSantis called out Australia yesterday, and as an Aussie, I loved it. I'll have to check that out. Tell her to go preach that in a mosque. Bet she won't. Yeah, I don't think so. She's using.
I know you're vaccinated. You're the.
Enough of her. I can't do it. Anyway, let's keep going here. There's a good article at Federalist here. New Hampshire. This one. This is not. This is odd or interesting. So New Hampshire denied a white man.
You're fucking a white male.
The juice due to his skin color, according to a complaint. A white man who had elevated medical risk in Stupid 19 was denied a vaccine in New Hampshire due to the color of his skin. A new joint civil rights complaint from the Ethics and Public Policy Center and Boyden Gray and Associates states. The complaint, which was sent to the Biden administration's Office of Civil Rights on Tuesday, claims that the man attempted to get a dose of the Stupid 19 juice through the Public Health Council of the Upper Valley in Lebanon, New Hampshire, in April, but was denied because the council was only serving people of color at the time. Earlier this year, New Hampshire established the use of racial and ethnic criteria to determine eligibility for the Stupid 19 jabs. Under the cover of equity, yes, whenever you see the word equity, run. Under the cover of equity, the state's racial set-asides excluded vulnerable people from access to the Stupid 19 punch because of their race. These actions are destructive to public health and patently illegal under the bedrock civil rights laws. Yeah, I think there's some 14th Amendment issues in there. The denial claim as the state began to roll out its Juice Equity Initiative using millions of federal dollars obtained through the OCR parent agency, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, specifically designated for Stupid 19 shots. The complaint maintains that using these funds in a discriminatory manner is a violation of federal law, as New Hampshire is well aware, but that the state continued to violate civil rights laws in exchange for serving people of a certain color first. No one seeking medical care should ever be sent to the back of the line because of their race, but that is exactly what the state of New Hampshire did with Stupid 19 jabs. You see, oh, what did I say there? Yeah, Stupid 19, blah, 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 blah. What did I say? No one seeking medical care. Okay, I must have skipped a sentence there somehow. Sorry about that. I was trying to concentrate on something else. Anyway, no one seeking medical care should be sent to the back of the line because of their race. But that is exactly the state of what the state of New Hampshire did with Stupid 19 jabs. HHS must investigate and hold the New Hampshire accountable for its blatantly illegal discrimination. So basically, they set aside jabs for minorities, and this guy who felt like he needed the jab, and more if he felt like he needed the jab, I don't understand how they couldn't give it to him. But he got turned away, and so now he's suing. At least he's alive to sue. At least he's not dead from getting the Stupid 19. Norway has ended their 561-day lockdown. Oh, they've been locked down the whole time. Hello, Alex Poons. Meanwhile, as Joe Biden gets a booster shot, he indicates that a vast majority of Americans must be vaccinated before we return back to normal life. So Joe Biden got his booster shot, right? And as they're asking questions, and I don't know if he meant to say this or not, but they're asking questions to Joe Biden about, when this is going to end. And he says, when 97 to 98% of people in the United States of America have gotten the juice. 89? That 89, 90, or no, it was 97 to 99%. He thinks every American should take it no matter what. What about that study? They're going back and doing the study on pregnant women. Are they going to make pregnant women get it? Are they going to make people who have, different autoimmune issues take it? Are they going to, oh my God, are they going to make black people take it? Because, let's see. Let me move on out of this topic. By the way, Joe Biden is now suffering a trust deficit regarding the Stupid 19, according to an Axios survey. For the first time in his presidency, Joe Biden faces a trust deficit among Americans when it comes to Stupid 19, according to the latest installment of the Axios Ipsos Coronavirus Index, Axios reported on Tuesday. According to the weekly survey of public trust in Joe Biden to provide accurate COVID-19 information, 53% of U.S. adults 18 and older have little trust in President Biden to provide them with accurate information about the virus and the pandemic. Fewer, 45% said they have a great deal or fair amount of trust in what Biden tells them on the subject, resulting in Biden's trust deficit. So you can read the rest of the article there. It's not much to it. But, is that a shocker to any of you out there? I don't know. Devil Fruit Zero, nice to see you. Do they want us to take the fucking jab or not? Hi, PDawg. Well, hi to you too. Nice to see you back. Let's see. Oh, watch this guy. So there was a big hoop-de-doo yesterday. Hoop-de-doo. Did I say that on purpose? Maybe. But LeBron James has gotten the jab. Now, interesting, though, when they were talking, because it's NBA Media Day, I think, and so they're talking to a bunch of players, and they're just talking to, LeBron James, and did you get the jab? Oh, yeah, I got the jab. But notice, if you go back and watch that, you can find it on YouTube, whatever, but LeBron didn't, make a big deal about, oh, yeah, everyone should get it, and this and that. He just kind of brushed off the question in a way. I mean, he didn't make a definitive statement that everybody must get the jab. Not like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who's been talking, and he's saying, every player in the NBA who doesn't get the jab should be immediately released from their contract, which I'm sure there's some players that be like, man, shut the fuck, Kareem. Shut the fuck up, old man. Anyway, so the big news was LeBron James got the jab, and all is good in the world because LeBron set this great example. But they were talking to some other players, like there's a few, Kyrie Irving, and I can't remember the other ones, but this guy from the Orlando Magic, his name's Jonathan Isaacs, and he was defending freedom of choice to reject the juice. And I hope that, do they have the clip here? Oh no. Yeah, they do. Listen to this. I'm just going to show you the clip. You can read the article on your own, but this was a great answer by this guy. And I just want to highlight it because it was a great answer regarding this and your freedoms. Here, let me.
Jonathan, Jamie Say, WKMG. Wondering if you can comment on the Rolling Stone article and your comments that appeared on that about you not getting a vaccination, why you don't want to get a vaccination.
Perfect answer.
And were you misquoted in that article?
I would start by saying that I was pretty badly misrepresented in the Rolling Stone article, and because of that, I can understand anyone who may say they don't transparently or overtly trust
what the fuck?
The media.
Why people don't trust the media? Because he was misquoted in Rolling Stone. Anyway,
in a frustrated tweet yesterday, I had noted that true journalism was dying, and to that I would say that I appreciate every single one of you, those that try their best to correctly share the thoughts, the ideas, and the heart of the people that they're asking questions of. I'm not anti-vax. I'm not anti-medicine. I'm not anti-science. I didn't come to my current vaccination status by studying Black history or watching Donald Trump press conferences. I have nothing but the utmost respect for every healthcare worker and person in Orlando and all across the world that have worked tirelessly to keep us safe. My mom has worked in healthcare for a really long time. I thank God, I'm grateful that I live in a society where vaccines are possible and we can protect ourselves and have the means to protect ourselves in the first place. But with that being said, it is my belief that the vaccine status of every person should be their own choice and completely up to them without bullying, without being pressured, or without being forced into doing so. I'm not ashamed to say that I'm uncomfortable with taking the vaccine at this time. I think that we're all different. We all come from different places.
I wish that's the only part I wish he would have said. I wish he would have just left out at this time. Just, I'm uncomfortable taking it. Okay? Capiche? Anyway.
We've all had different experiences and hold dear to different beliefs. And what it is that you do with your body when it comes to putting medicine in there should be your choice, free of the ridicule and the opinion of others.
Ding.
Jonathan, Josh Robbins with The Athletic. Hesitant to get it?
I would start with I've had COVID in the past, and so our understanding of antibodies, of natural immunity has changed a great deal from the onset of the pandemic and is still evolving. I understand that the vaccine would help if you catch COVID, and you'll be able to have less symptoms from contracting it. But with me having COVID in the past and having antibodies, with my current age group and physical fitness level, it's not necessarily a fear of mine. Taking the vaccine, like I said, it would decrease my chances of having a severe reaction, but it does open me up to the, albeit rare chance, but the possibility of having an adverse reaction to the vaccine itself. I don't believe that being unvaccinated means infected, or being vaccinated means uninfected. You can still catch COVID with or without not having the vaccine. I would say, honestly, the craziness of it all, in terms of not being able to say that it should be everybody's fair choice without being demeaned or talked crazy to, doesn't make one comfortable to do what said person is telling them to do.
That's right.
Yeah, I would say that's a couple of the reasons that I would say I'm hesitant at this time, but at the end of the day, I don't feel that it is, anyone's reason to come out and say, well, this is why or this is not why. It should just be their decision, and loving your neighbors, not just loving those that agree with you or look like you or move in the same way that you do. It's loving those who don't.
All right, now they keep talking to him about this, and his answers continue to be in that vein. So if you want to, you can watch the rest of that on your own. But just the idea that all these reporters, I mean, they spent 10 minutes talking to him about this, and he gave his reasons. Now, Washington Wizards star Bradley Beal also gave a pretty good answer. Here's Bradley
Every
Beal.
player, every person in this world is going to make their own decision for themselves. I would like an explanation to, people with vaccines. Why are they still getting COVID? If that's something that we are supposed to highly be protected from. Like, it's funny that, it reduces your chances of going to the hospital. It doesn't eliminate anybody from getting COVID, right? So is everybody in here vaxxed? I would assume, right? So you all can still get COVID, right?
Less likely to die or go to the hospital. Less likely to die or go to the hospital. Well, they're going to argue with him. I thought, who's asking the question here? This is his answer.
Okay, but you can still get COVID. Right. So, and you can still pass it along with the vax, right? I'm just asking the question.
Oh, sure. And so, having COVID back around the Olympics, that, basically just saying, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
you're trying to
change your opinion one way or another, did it kind of reemphasize, I don't need the vaccine because of that?
No, that wasn't the case. I mean, yeah, I had it, but that doesn't mean I can't get it again, I mean, it's no different than somebody with the vaccine. I developed the antibodies for it, so my chances will be less likely now as well, right? But
yes, because nobody's talking about that.
It's still a possibility I may get it. Just like there are players and coaches and staff who are vaxxed and missing camp right now because of it. So every player, every person in this world.
Anyway, I went to escape there. There we go. And then there's also a transcript of his response from Isaac. Are there too, if you want to read that transcript, but it's pretty good stuff. All right, so let's move on. Just a couple things that knickknacks here. Terry McAuliffe doesn't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach. Terry McAuliffe running for governor of Virginia. During the debate last night, one of the questions was asked, or he was challenged on his change in stance, as he previously advocated for protection for transgender students and now supports allowing local school districts to make independent decisions about controversial issues. His opponent, Republican candidate Glenn Youngkin, argued during the debate that local school districts should include parents in decisions regarding their educational content taught to their children. And Terry McAuliffe, former governor of Virginia, who is running for governor of Virginia, said, in regards to our kids in schools, we are called for everyone to love everyone. Oh, that's Youngkin. I'm sorry. And I agree with your conclusion, Terry McAuliffe, that we should let local school districts actually make these decisions. But we must ask them to include concepts of safety and privacy and respect in the discussion. And we must ask that they include parents in that dialogue. Terry McAuliffe said, I'm not going to let parents come into schools and actually take books out and make their own decisions, McAuliffe replied. I stopped the bill that I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach. He explained that he supports parents having the right to veto books rather than make decisions for the school in which books are placed in school libraries. That's a kind of a kerfluffle over those the gay sex porn books that they removed, which, I know, burning books, but still. Good morning, Katie. The skate. Nice to see you. All right. So anyway, parents should not be able to have. Now, okay, let's go like this. Parents should not be part of the decision. Don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach. Aren't parents part of the system? I don't know. Anyway. All right, real quick. Democrats. Oh, Oh my gosh, I'm out of time here. Well, here's the headlines and the articles that I have left. That you can read these after the show's over. They'll be in the link down below. Democrats would prefer that you ignore all violent crime around you. They're really, it's kind of weird. There's kind of a new thing saying that, well, this crime's not so bad, or this crime's not as bad as it was in the 90s, or this and that. The fact that the murder rate's creeping up in almost every major metropolitan area in the country, and we think that there's a bit of a correlation to the defund the police movements, or at least trying to reduce the role of police in communities. And the criminals are saying, oh, great, let's just be criminals. And so you can read that one. In Daily Wire, Washington Post critics slam CNN for their silence over Cuomo misconduct. Can't it offer even a token statement about sexual harassment? Yeah, they're avoiding the story. I haven't seen Brian Stelter talk about it. So anyway, you can read about that in the Daily Wire today. Also, from PJ Media, Don Lemon's sexual harassment suit or sexual assault charge is going forward in the courts. Apparently, they're gonna. Now this is weird though, because at one point, this guy, Dustin Heiss, had his attorney had sought to withdraw the suit. It's a civil suit. But then he ended up with new lawyers, and then they decided to continue, and now they're back into kind of the discovery phase or whatever. But now the judge says this is going to go forward unless there's a conference in which Don Lemon decides to settle it. But if you don't know what we're talking about, this is the case where Don Lemon was in a bar, and a fan of Don Lemon was just trying to get Don's attention, and then offered to buy him a drink, and Don's like, no, don't want to. And then later in the night, Don decided to stick his hands down his pants, fondle his own genitalia, aka balls and taint and whatever else, sweaty nuts, and then proceeded to take the sweaty ball nut juiced hand and stick it under the guy's nose, asking them, do you like pussy or dick? That is the allegation. And so the guy said, that's really gross, and your ball sweat was on my mustache and I didn't like it, and so I'm having a civil suit against you. And now that suit, which was looking like it wasn't going to go anywhere, is now going somewhere. And so there you go. So two of the three primetime anchors on CNN are having nasty sexual harassment or sexual assault suits against them, or claims or whatever. And what the fuck's going on with CNN? This is the same CNN that hired Jeffrey Toobin back, who was masturbating on a Zoom call, however unintentionally. You know what? I'm still confused about that Toobin thing. So I want to know, and he's asked to answer this question. So he's at the Zoom call, and then all of a sudden he thinks the Zoom call's over, and he's on his camera, and he starts jerking it right on the Zoom call, like for everyone to see, that not intentionally, but he's jerking it. I'm trying to figure out, okay, who was he jerking it to that was in that Zoom call? I'm just curious. I don't know what was going on with him. Oh boy. Anyway. All right, and then the last couple articles, the Democrats are desperate to get, we talked about this yesterday, get Manchin and Sinema on board, the Maverick. I'm just going to start calling her the Maverick. They're desperate to get her. They're on a last-ditch effort to get them on board. They're already figuring out how they're going to have to scale this down, because they're figuring it out that ain't happening. So they're figuring out what they can cut from their stupid-ass $3.5 trillion with a T dollar bill, and it's going to be over. So, and they're going to try to see it something pass, because they want to pretend it's a success anyway. And then the final couple articles, Bernie Sanders has urged House Democrats to vote against the infrastructure bill. What the fuck's going on? I'm going to guess that is because he doesn't think it's enough. He thinks it should be 10 trillion. And they don't like the reconciliation package, and he wants them to spend the entire $3.5 trillion and have all kinds of Green New Deal bullshit in it, and more pork and other shit. So you can read why Sanders is telling his colleagues to vote against it. This article here, Dems propose $100 billion tax hike, but this says targeting the poor. Now, I'm not sure. Oh, because they're looking at, so they're looking at not only raising income taxes on the people earning over $400,000, but households with an income of $35,000 or less smoke at 3 times the rate of households with incomes of more. They're looking at tobacco taxes. And, because they're going to try to get $100 billion in tobacco taxes and the sin taxes. And so they said they're not going to raise taxes on anyone making over $400,000 a year, but most people who smoke make under $35,000 a year. Thus, they would be raising taxes on people who make over 400 or well under, not even like exponentially under $400,000 a year with some of these other taxes that they're proposing. By the way, all the Green New Deal taxes, like they're going to try to raise the price of energy. Gee, do only people who make $400,000 a year try to heat their homes and drive cars and shit? You're so full of shit. Anyway, and then finally, the last article that I'm not getting to, billions hidden in the 3.5 trillion with a T dollar bill. To tilt the election scale. They're putting a whole bunch of election bullshit in this 3.5 trillion with a T dollar bill, social engineering type shit, and a bunch of, there's a whole bunch of, election shit they're trying to sneak through, because you know how they try to sneak shit through in these bills. So you can read about that in the New York Post. And on that note, it's time for me to call it a day, because I already have gone over my time, even though I started a little bit late too. So I'm kind of at a wash here today. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, before you do anything, 18 likes, 32 people in the room, fix that. Come on. Before you do anything, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you. Before you do anything else, I would appreciate it so much. It would mean so much to me if you could get the like count up by just clicking that like button before you go and show me that you like me. You really like me. And thank you so much for being here today. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you've enjoyed chatting with each other, unless you're watching out, in the work or the driving, whatever, because I don't want you to get too distracted and try to read the chat while you're driving. But like button and hit the share button and share this out before, during, and after the show. It helps no matter when you do it. And finally, if you want to be a sponsor, oh wait, not finally, because I also say if you're watching on replay, let me know you're here. Just let me just raise your hand, the down below. You can click hi Marty or something, or I was here, or answer the question that from earlier, whatever you want to do, but answer something. Tell me you were here, because I always like to find out who was here after the fact. I know a lot of you do watch the replays. And then finally, if you want to sponsor the show, there are 4 different ways in the description down below to sponsor the show. I may one of these days add Subscribestar or Patreon or the YouTube, because I could turn on that little member thing on YouTube, but I don't want to give 30% of your money to Susan. Apparently Streamlabs has one too. I'm going to look into that if you want to do some kind of a monthly subscription type of thing, where if you just want to just put something on a regular basis. I don't know. I've always felt kind of weird about that, but now that I have more subscribers and a lot more regulars, I guess I feel less weird about that. Anyway, I'll figure that out. There's already 4 ways though to support the show as a sponsor down in the description below. Thanks everybody for being here today, but it is that time. I gotta go. Good morning, Check Your Logic. By the way, I see you there, and I see Cracked, and I see somebody else said hi here. Was it, well, I said Devil Fruit Zero. Someone else, oh, an infamous one is here too. Nobody Not Me. There's a lot of people I haven't said hi to yet. Katie Did Skate. Okay, well, I'm glad you're all here, and I hope you enjoy the show. Watch the rest of it, because you're going to have to watch part of the replay because you missed the beginning. I gotta go. Thank you for being here. My name is PDawgKnight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P. Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.